Hello students. So after going through the poem Laburnum Top, I hope you have understood the poem. Okay, start preparing the notes from the poem. Okay, keep the next textbook in front of you. Okay, while studying. Now we'll start with figure of speech. Okay, take out your textbook of page number 31. Okay, and go to see, check the first line. The laburnum top is silent, quite still. Okay, mark this sentence as the first sentence and tell me what figure of speech do you think it will be over here. The laburnum top is silent, quite still. Okay, that means over here the tree is silent also. Okay, and it does not have any words, quite still. So both the words silent and still, they are the different words but they have the same meaning. So the figure of speech used over here is tautology. Okay, so you were going to write tautology. The use of two different words, silent and quite still, are used which have the same meaning. Okay, come to the next line. In the afternoon, yellow September sunlight. September sunlight in the afternoon, yellow September. Now how can the September be yellow? Yellow September sunlight. Okay, so it is a quality that is given to the month, that is September. So it is transferred epithet. The adjective yellow and September have been transferred from the word color and the month to the sunlight. Okay, so transferred epithet, epithet means it is an adjective. So your epithet yellow and September, they have been transferred from color and the month to the sunlight. Okay, go to the next line. A few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. A few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. Okay, so alliteration, the sound of the consonant F is repeated for the words few and fallen. Okay, FF sound. Synecdoche, leaves and seeds, they are the parts of the tree. So leaves and seeds, they are their parts. It stands for the whole laburnum tree. So synecdoche. So first is alliteration, second is synecdoche. Leaves and seeds, it stands for the whole laburnum tree. Earlier in synecdoche, we have seen the examples wherein the part of the body, hand, leg, it used to stand for the whole poet. But now over here we are talking about the leaves or the whole tree. So leaves and the seeds, they are the parts of the whole tree. One more it will come, euphemism. What is the euphemism? The idea of death, it is expressed over here. So the yellowing leaves and falling of it. Okay, in an autumn season this normally happens. So yellowing of the leaves and falling of the seeds suggests the idea of death of the leaves. Come to the next line. Now coming to the next line. Till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup. Chirrup, it suggests a sound. The sound of the bird, it is the chirrup. So onomatopoeia. Okay. Till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup, onomatopoeia. Also, TT sound is there. Till and twitching, the both have the same sound. That is T, that is alliteration. Okay, over here the will not come because the sound is the th sound is different from T sound. Therefore alliteration, till and twitching. Come to the next sentence. A suddenness, a startlement at a branch end. Branch, it is a part of a tree. So synecdoche, the part branch, it stands for the laburnum tree. Now looking at the sentence, you will say that that why it is not alliteration, because SS is there. No, but over here sudden and startle, stir and sir, S and ST sounds, they are different, so we cannot count as alliteration. Okay, then next. Okay, also one more thing, a suddenness, a startlement, a branch end, a word is repeated, so repetition. And then sleek as lizard and elapsed and abrupt. Simile, as a lizard. Okay, so over here comparison is done of a goldfinch with that of a lizard. So simile, there is a direct comparison. Always we have a rule in simile that 99% of the case, whenever the words like and as are mentioned in the stanza or in the line, direct the figure of speech simile will apply over here. Okay, but only 99%. 1% may be the case that if it is direct comparison but the words like and as are not written, then also it will be simile. Come to the next line. She enters the thickness and a machine starts up. Metonymy. The word thickness, it represents the laburnum tree, and the machine, it represents the baby bird making the sounds and fluttering their small wings. Okay, the thickness, it suggests the laburnum tree. Now over here throughout in the poem, why it is metonymy, means in the sentence why it is metonymy. In metonymy, what I have explained to you all, that the word which we are talking about, it will not be directly expressed in the poem. There will be different adjectives or different descriptions, descriptive words may be used for that particular thing. Okay, so now laburnum top is mentioned in the poem, but laburnum tree is not mentioned. So we understand it's a tree. Then yellow September sunlight is mentioned, but it is not saying autumn. Okay, directly it is not saying autumn. So similarly over here, she enters the thickness. Thickness means what? It is the bark of a tree. Okay, so from this we come to know that it is a laburnum tree from the thickness. What is the thickness now? It is a bark. So metonymy over here, the thickness, it represents the laburnum tree. And machine, it is represents the baby birds. In the poem, it is not saying that the baby birds have started chirping when the mother enters the tree. But it is indirectly saying that the machine is starting up. Okay, so directly nowhere the words can be seen. Therefore, it is metonymy. And the machine represents baby birds making sounds and fluttering their small wings. Okay. Of chittering and of tremors of wings and trillings. So chitterings is there, then trillings is there. It suggests the sound, therefore onomatopoeia. Next is synecdoche, wings. It suggests for the whole birds. Synecdoche. Internal rhyme. Chitterings and trillings, wings. This ing sounds are repeated, rhyming words. Therefore, it is an internal rhyme. So, onomatopoeia, synecdoche, and internal rhyme. See the next line. The whole tree trembles and thrills. Personification. The inanimate tree is given the human quality of trembling and thrilling. Okay, thrilling means a tree is getting it is getting fear of, and tremor means it is shivering or we say a trembling down of a man, trembling footsteps of a man. But over here we are saying the trembling of a tree. But the tree is not moving. So inanimate tree is given the human quality of trembling and thrilling. Personification. Hyperbole. Hyperbole, what is the meaning of hyperbole figure of speech? That the sentence is expressed not in a direct way. Direct words are not used, but round and round the explanation is given. So over here what it is said, of chitterings and of tremors and of wings and trillings. Okay, the whole tree trembles and thrills. So and it is an overstatement that the whole tree is trembling. So hyperbole. Next one, it is the engine of her family. Metaphor. Indirectly the metaphor. Now why over here metaphor? The indirectly the goldfinch is compared with that of the engine of her family. So indirectly, the indirect comparison it can be seen. So metaphor. Next is she stokes it full, then flirts out to a branch end. Alliteration, the sound of the consonant F is repeated for the words full and flirts. So alliteration. Personification, the tree is given the human quality of flirting. Metonymy, stokes it full. It is represent that the bird, goldfinch mother bird is feeding her babies till they are satisfied. So metonymy. Okay, so we have seen over here in this line alliteration, F sound, full and flirt. Personification, that the tree is given the human quality of flirting. And metonymy, that is stokes it full. It is representing with the feeding of the babies, feeding to the babies by the mother bird till they are getting satisfied. Next is showing her barred face identity mask. Transferred epithet, the adjective bared has been transferred from the flowers which is associated with it. So bared face means bared means it has a mark from which we can say that it is a goldfinch bird. Okay, otherwise we cannot clearly identify that the word is goldfinch. The word is goldfinch, the poet it says that it because the mark can be seen on the eye, therefore it is a goldfinch bird. Then synodoc. Okay, so transferred epithet explanation is the adjective bared has been transferred from the flowers to the bird which is associated with it. Next is synodoc. The face it represents the goldfinch. Metaphor, the falling next is metaphor. The falling laburnum flowers are compared to the bars. So metaphor. 3 we have seen: transferred epithet, synodoc and metaphor. Now in the next line, then with airy delicate whistle chirp whisperings. Whistle, chirp and whisperings, these are the sounds. So onomatopoeia. Okay, next is alliteration. Why alliteration? The WH sound. WH sound of whistle, chirp and whisperings. So these two, they have the WH sounds, that is alliteration. Okay, so onomatopoeia and alliteration. See the next line. She launches away towards the infinite. The metonymy, the word infinite, it represents sky, means towards the infinite means now the birds it does not have a proper direction, and therefore it says that it does not have a proper direction to go, but it is raising towards infinite. Launches means upwards, so it is the sky, metonymy. Okay, sky again over here, it is nowhere mentioned in the poem, therefore it is metonymy. And the laburnum succeeds to empty. Hyperbole, there is an exaggeration that the tree is empty. Okay, so it is an overstatement over here, so hyperbole. Now make the notes of all these sentences, 15 sentences. Okay, write the figure of speech along with its explanation, very important as poetic devices. Okay, complete your notes and rewind the video for a better understanding.